Hello, my Zentangle friends. This is Barbara Langston, CZT. I'm a Certified Zentangle Teacher, and welcome to another session of Not Perfect Zen. I hope you're doing well. I'm doing great. Thank you very much. Here is my contact information. And if you want to send me an email, I do have some people that send their tiles to me that way. I love seeing it, however you want to share your work. Also, my Facebook and Instagram accounts. Excuse me. And if you do post on social media, please use @BBL_tangles, and that way I get notified that you have posted something, and I love to see what you do. This week, and I think almost the whole week, Zentangle has been posting videos, and their focus has been on aura. And you may see that I have changed my background just a little bit. I bought these washi tapes and haven't used them, and I thought, well, I would try marking my little boundary that helps me keep my tile in view and see if that'll help me to do better, because I think last time I kind of went off the screen a little bit. But I've also been playing with watercolor and made this little tile with the definition of aura. So Project Pack 24 from Zentangle has been focusing on aura, and specifically their focus has been on the pattern crescent moon, and I just put a tiny bit of that there. But an aura means drawing a line around the image that you've just drawn. And I had originally planned to teach you the pattern called Maggie May by Dolly Bolen, and she's a CZT. And I was going to put crescent moon around it, but I just couldn't get it to look right. So I'm just going to teach you Maggie May, and then you can have fun with it and do other things with it if you would like. So let's get started. I'm going to be using a Zentangle 3.5-inch tile and a Micron 01, a graphite pencil, and a blending tool known as a tortillon, okay? And I always say blending tool also because in the closed caption I have seen that when I say tortillon, it comes across as tortilla. So that's kind of fun. So Maggie May is a really fun pattern. It's kind of botanical. I was going through some old tiles that I had done a few years ago, and I think this one was done in 2022. And I don't want to use henna drum every time. So that's why I was going to use crescent moon, but if you want to do it like this, feel free to do it. I'm just going to teach you the basic pattern, and then you can embellish it. And I'll show you a couple of other things that I've done with it. But this was the tile that inspired me to teach you this today. Okay, so with our 3.5-inch tile, again, you can use any supplies that you have on hand. And if it's a scrapbook, that's fine. Scrap paper, sketchbook, anything. Just have fun with it, okay? You may notice that I've kind of put an X in the center. That's because the perfectionist in me wants to start toward the middle of the tile. And basically, all I do is just kind of do this and then kind of touch it in the center, and then I'll turn it and do that again. But this pattern does not have to be centered. I'm just telling you why you see that there. Okay, she starts out with actually putting 3 circles in the center, but I have fun putting like a printemps. So just a spiral. So we're going to start in the center. And just come around a couple of times. And then find a place to stop. Okay? And then we're going to put 6 of these petals. Okay? And I'm going to start where I kind of had that line marking the center. And just a simple petal. And I'm going to go on the opposite side and do that again. And then we're going to put 6. And mine are not going to be all exactly the same, and it doesn't matter. I did find that having those lines where I made the center helped me to get these a little bit more even. Okay, so that's the beginning. And then we're going to go in the center of these petals and add kind of an aura, which makes a seed shape. Okay. The step out for this is on Dolly's website, and I will leave a link to that in the description. And to find the description, look below the video and you'll see ... more. Click on that, and I always have good information down in the description. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add an aura between these petals. So we're going to try to make them the same distance. And I just like to go ahead and do it on all of these, and then we'll come back and do the next step. I think it helps me to keep these at kind of the same distance. I'm wondering if any of you are watching the Project Pack 24. The focus is on Crescent Moon, but there's some really beautiful things that they're doing. It's not all just Crescent Moon that they're drawing. They're drawing other patterns too. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is put a top on this. And it's curved, and it ends up almost looking like you're putting a circle around these petals. Okay, see that circle? And now we're going to go up from the center of this and come out. I guess it's further than the width of this barrel, but then we're going to bring these curved lines down. And I like to come up from that center point and then try to make my curves, or that point, be about the same distance. Again, if it's not, it's okay. Have a slight curve coming back down. The step outs for these are also in the Zentangle Mosaic app. Just search for, I'll show you, if you search for hashtag Maggie May, okay, then you'll be able to see what other people have done. Okay, again, we're making these petals. Okay, this ends up looking a lot like a mandala as you go along. Okay, so now we're going to do auras again. And I'm going to start at the tip of that. And then it's going to stop about where the tip of that petal is. And I like to keep my pen pointed toward what I'm trying to aura. That helps me to do it the best. And I've heard Rick and Maria mention that in the Project Pack 24 videos. So I did this pattern, and when I was first starting to practice it for this video, and I did not put this aura, and it totally changed it. So I just did something different with it. And I'll show you that after we learn the right way to do it. Of course, there is no wrong way. Even Dolly said that she likes to change things up and she doesn't always exactly follow step outs. Okay. I realized that I didn't start with gratitude and appreciation. I am grateful to be here and to be teaching you. And we didn't do corner dots because this one is going to fill the tile. Okay, same thing, we didn't put a border. And now we also don't have a string. So we kind of jumped right into the tangle on this. The next thing that we're going to do is put another petal similar to this. And I'm going to come up again, kind of from the center where we started that petal, and come up a ways. And then I like to make this kind of line up with that. That line right there on the center gives you something to aim for. And then we're going to aura that. Okay, we're going to do that all the way around. So I'm coming up, kind of aim with a slight curve. And I may not have come up as high as I did on that one, and it's okay. I think this one is a little skinnier. After, like I said, trying several times to put different versions of Crescent Moon on here, I decided I just liked it the original way that Dolly did it. And she said Maggie was what her daughter used to call magazines, and May was the month that she created this pattern, and she called it Maggie May. It's also one of my favorite songs from the 70s. So yes, that dates me. I remembered listening to that in high school. Okay, so the other thing that she does in the original pattern is, now I've gone blank on it. Okay, I had to go get my step out. I've done it so many different ways. I want to show you how she does it. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is come into this last one that we did, and I'm going to make a line down to the center and then an aura on each side. So same thing here, come up, put a line, aura. So the one that we're auraing is the one above it. I do love the 3.5-inch tiles, but now I also have a supply of the 5-inch tiles, and I like that too. But mostly I like the classic Zentangle tiles that I did when I first started. Okay, so there we have Maggie May. And from here you could do anything else that you wanted with it. But I'm going to do some things that I enjoyed. I'm going to fill in these little seed shapes. We're going to add just a little bit of drama, because this kind of becomes a reticulum, which means that you could put other patterns inside of these shapes. Just like if you were doing a mandala, you could put shapes and patterns inside. Okay. And then in these little fan shapes, I want to put a line down the center and another line there. And then I'm going to do rounding on these. So just adding a curve here at the top of each one. And it kind of makes a petal shape. It gives us a little bit more drama. If you wanted to, you could put a line and a dot, which makes it look kind of like flux. Okay, so we're going to do that on each of these. Okay, so now add some rounding. I've had fun trying different ideas. And like I said, I tried several different variations of putting crescent moon out here, and I just didn't like how it looked, so we're not going to do that. But you could try it. And this is a bigger tile, and from this point right here, okay, I added another line And then between those, I added henna drum. But like I said, this is a little bit bigger. Okay, trying to get these kind of even and smooth at the top. And adding this little bit of drama is fun. Okay, that one went up kind of high. So again, I go down the center, and then I divide that one in half. Then I divide this one in half, and then I add the rounding. And this is something that I do quite often. And if you're new to Zentangle, as you practice different patterns, you'll find things that you enjoy doing. You'll also find that there are patterns that you don't like. I do see, I check tanglepatterns.com and the Musterkill website often and look for new patterns that they've just posted, but I also like to look at the older patterns. And if I try one and I find it difficult, then I'm probably not going to teach it to you, because I'm probably not going to do it again. The only time I do difficult patterns that I don't like is sometimes during Inktober. There are patterns that are difficult, but I work on them until I can find an easy way to teach you. And Inktober's coming up really fast. And I think this time I'm simply going to do it on bijou size tiles. There are some different templates out there that you can put your patterns on, but look, I think I'm going to just stick with bijou. Okay, so I'm going to the bottom of these and just adding a little bit to fill in that bottom space. Again, adding a little drama. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is inside of this, I'm going to aura that again. And then I'm going to fill it in. And again, this is just my idea. I did this on another tile and I liked it. I'm going to fill it in so I can take the opportunity to fix that if I need to. Okay, then fill it in. This is an 01, so I'm trying to be easy and not push down. I tend to be kind of heavy-handed, but I do like working with an 01 pen. Okay, so I'm just trying to keep the lines about the same distance apart. And then just very gently fill it in. And when you're doing this, let this be part of just enjoying your art. When I first started Zentangle, I did not like filling in dark areas like that, but now I do. And fix that bottom a little bit. Usually I fill in these spaces with a graphic one, but I'm not going to change pens this time. But my favorite pens are the Micron 01, which is what I'm using now. Micron PN, which is the plastic nib. And this is an 01. The plastic nib is about an 05. And then a graphic one, I believe that's a 1mm tip. So it's really nice. It's kind of like using a marker. Okay, one to go. Trying very hard to not push down too much on this pen. You could do little circles to help you get all the little spots filled in. Okay. Other things that you could do, you could put lines in here, kind of similar to what I did up here. You could put anything in here or just leave it. You could put orbs. But I am going to show you. I'm going to go ahead and add another layer of these petals, okay? And I want to encourage you to put another piece of paper behind your tile. So I'm going to start here, and this one's going to come up straight from this point, and then I'm going to come down similar to what I did before, and I'm going to add a curve that kind of lines up with that. And this one will come back down this direction. And then I'm going to aura inside of that. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing here, but it's going to go off the paper. And this is something that I learned from Kelly Barone. And she puts a piece of paper behind her tile like this, a scrap piece of paper. So you can pretend that you're drawing, but this gives you kind of a guide. So I would be going sort of like this, and then I would be coming back down like this, okay? And then I would have my aura coming out that way, and my aura coming back down like that, okay? Does that make sense? So it's like your pattern is still there, and then when I move the paper, it has gone off the tile, okay? We're going to do the same thing over here, just move to a different part, and this is just scrap paper. So I'll be coming up about that far. And my line will go up like that, and then my line would come back down about like that. Okay? And then my aura would come up, and then it would come back down about like that. This one's going to stay on the page or on the tile. I just love watching videos from different CZTs because I get some really good tips. And I love being able to pass that on to you. Okay, this one didn't get very dark. Okay, we're going to do that same thing here. So I'm going to come up about like that. And since I'm going off the tile, I find it easier to start down here. And then our aura would come up about like that. This one's going to come down like that. There's our aura. And then same thing over here. So I'm coming up about that far. Gives me something to aim for. And then we'll be coming back like that. Here's our auras. Okay, cool, huh? Now when we get that out of the way, I'm just going to fix these where they haven't touched. All right, what do you think? I like it. So you could continue going like that, but I'm just going to stop there. And now I'm going to get my graphite pencil, and I'm going to go around this center part, this spiral. Okay, and then get my tortillon and just soften that. If you're doing this with color, you could add color in these auras. I think I'm just gonna go to this aura that we added here. And then just add some graphite around that. I have seen these where they darkened one side of this. That's an idea. I do love looking at what other people have done for inspiration. And just take your time on this. Enjoy adding your graphite to the tile. This was another thing that I was uncomfortable with when I first started Zentangle, was adding graphite and shading. But now that I know what a difference it makes, like Maria said, it's the icing on the cake. Okay. Now add your, or blend it with your tortillon. So we're pushing it into the paper and then softening that edge. And I'm trying to make sure that I don't leave a space between my line and my graphite. And what I mean by that is you don't want to have a space like that because it's very obvious. Now there are times when Maria has put a shadow, you know, away from the edge, and that's okay. But if you're trying to add shading right next to a line, then make sure that your pencil touches that line and you don't leave space between, because your eye will see it. Okay, so let's do the same thing here. And again, like I said, you could put patterns inside there. I'm going to go ahead and add shading on the outside of these. I have not practiced it this way, so we're both getting to see it at the same time. And if you like to watch my video first, then you can decide if you want to do that same thing on your tile. I don't speed up my videos, and I don't add music, because for some people that's very distracting. I know it is for me. The music and having something sped up makes me very anxious. It makes me feel like it's a race to get a tile finished. And for me, it's never a race. This could be very pretty with some pastel pencils. But one thing about doing the classic tile is that for me it's very relaxing because I'm not worried about changing colors. I prefer to put the color on my tile first, and I had fun playing with watercolors this week, and it came out much better than I expected. And I will show a couple of those on one of my next videos. All right, what do you think about having all of these shaded? Another thing you can do is put your shading inside these auras. Use your graphite to add color that way. You know, if you're ever like in a waiting room or something like that, and all you have is pen, paper, and pencil, you can use your pencil to add just shading on those lines. Gives you a different effect. Remember, this is your art. There's no mistakes. Just enjoy what you've done. And I encourage you, when you finish a tile, to hold it at arm's length and just say, I like it. I've started doing that, and it really makes a difference. All right, what do you think? I like it. Cool. You could put a little bit at the bottom of these, and I'm just using what's left over on my tortillon to add a little bit of shading at the bottom of these. All right, so let's add our chop. Pick any spot that you like. I think I will bring mine off of this point. This turned out to be a monotangle, and I like that. Again, this was Maggie May by Dolly Bolen, and she's a CZT. And now I'll show you what I did that was kind of a mistake, but I love how it turned out. So I did this first part right here, okay? And then I didn't put the aura around it all, okay? So I put those in there and then added these points, and the next step was an aura, but I forgot it. So instead I put these little petals up here, and I put my aura between with some lines, and then this pattern is called Damsel Leaf, and it is by Annette Rumpler. She's a CZT. Isn't that pretty? I really loved how that one turned out. And I'll show you my practice of trying to put different versions of crescent moon. Now, I didn't shade this one at all. I just did some different stuff. This is tweed, and then various ideas for crescent moon, and then I thought, nah, I don't like it. So here's the tile we did today. This is the one that had an oops that turned out really nice. If you want to know how to do damsel leaf, it is super easy. You just have your stem coming up, and what I like to do is just make a little loop and come back down and make kind of like a little ladybug shape. And then you fill both of those in. And then you just make kind of a long loop here and fill that in. I don't think I've taught this one. So let me zoom in and do that one more time in case you want to add that to a tile. So come up, add a little loop, come around, and then from that point, make just a little loop and you leave a space in between and come back down. So that is damsel leaf. Okay, so you got a little bonus there. All right, there you go. There's our tiles. And then here's the one that inspired me. And that outside pattern is henna drum, which is one of my all-time favorite patterns. Okay? All right, thank you for coming and watching. And I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the like button, subscribe, leave comments, and share, because that helps other people to find my channel and it supports my channel. All right. Thank you so much. I will see you again next time, my friends. Have a great week. Bye.